Hey, I'm CJ Wildheart and you're watching Tales from the PowerAge. Don't forget to subscribe too.
Right, well, welcome back to Tales from the PowerAge. Hope you're well, guys. You all right?
All good, mate.
All good. And if for those of you who may have noticed, we've got 5 people on the pod today. So we've got the amazing CJ Wildheart. How you doing?
I'm good, really good. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, brilliant to see you. So I'm going to split today's podcast into 2 parts. Before we do that, can I just remind you, please give us a sub, get involved in the comments. Please give us your views on CJ Wildheart's new album. Also give us your views on any of his back catalogue and anything that we talk about today. We'd love to hear from you. For those of you who don't know CJ, which I don't think anyone watching this won't know him, if you didn't, Gav, you've got a couple of bits that you want to show from his existing catalogue. So do you want to just go through those first?
Yeah, just before we talk about the new album, I thought I'd put together a list of your discography as CJ Wildheart. And there's quite a decent catalogue now building up. I've got a few of them. Do you remember when you did the double version?
Yeah, that's about 10 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I've been there from the start.
Yeah, I've made a lot of music now. I've made a lot of albums, not just solo albums, and it always surprises me how many albums I've made and albums I've been on. Yeah. My age, so it is always.
We've got a few more of the albums from previous years to talk about later on as well. But are any of those particularly favourites of yours? Any of your own catalogue?
My solo albums?
Yeah.
My favourite solo album, release solo album is Split, the one what came out. I don't know if it came out this year or last year, maybe both. But if I was signed to a major record label and I had a PR person next to me, they'll be saying, "You've got to say you're the album about your best album. You have to, even though it's shit. You've got to say it." But I really, really like the album what's about to come out as well. I think I found my groove, and it's that punk and roll thing, and it's
awesome.
I'm a punk rocker. It's just what I am.
I was going to say they're kind of similar in you finding your sound, aren't they? And was it the same production, same drummer?
Yes, I've used Jason Bold, who plays with Bullet for my Valentine. I've used him on the last 6 albums I've done.
Wow.
I'm a creature of habit. I record my solo albums on my own and on my own little home studio, and work with programmed drums, get the album practically recorded. Then I moved to Dave Draper's studio. We replaced the drum machine parts with a real drummer, strip everything down and mix it. And that's how I wondered
whether he was just playing to a click or whether you'd actually done the drum, like a basic drum thing for him.
No, I program the drums properly. I mean, it's pretty close to what Jason does. He always says when I give him the demos, he goes, "They're so finished that you could just put them out as they are." And I did put a demo version of Split out last year called The Building Blocks. And
I remember.
If you listen to The Building Blocks, they are the demos. That's what when I go down to Dave Draper's, that's the state of my songs, and they are finished practically. Yeah.
Very cool. I think there's an interesting story regarding that sleeve.
That's my son. Yeah. So that album Siege was written and recorded during lockdown in 2020, and it's a furious album and it's really intense. But that was my boy in my local Sainsbury's. He used to have his little trolley. That little trolley used to come round with me, and he wanted a big pack of ice lollies, like a 24 family pack, and I said no. And it's the only time he's ever had a tantrum with me. And the shop was empty. There was a lady behind me who actually had we put my clown face on the lady, because I don't want to embarrass her, but she was looking at me. My son was having a tantrum. I've got my phone out, lining it up to get the perfect shot, and then as she walked by, she goes, terrible behavior, and I go, oh, it's going to make a great album cover. And she went, yeah. You know, it's just one of those moments. I got an eye, and it's a great picture, I think. Really.
It is a good picture, yeah. The old perspective of it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's real life. It's a proper tantrum. Yeah.
Brilliant. Should we get on to we'll get on to your new album, which is coming out, called Slots. So we've all had a really good listen to it. Really looking forward to talking through this. So Jam, I'm going to come to you first around any comments and questions around the album.
Well, I love the album. It's really, I love the fact it's so punchy. It's really punchy. It really gets in there. It's so hard hitting, in my opinion. But I love the cover of In the City by The Jam. Just wondered why you chose that particular track.
A couple of reasons. When I moved back to Britain, I grew up around the world. I moved back to Britain when I was 15, and I was already playing. And you know, by the time I was 12, I wanted to be in a band. And the only kids in my school who could play happened to be a couple of like skinheads who used to pick on me, and they learned really quickly that I wasn't a pushover, you know, being an army brat, and you know, having a dad from the West Indies, and you know, I've always stood my ground, and I did, and they saw the error of their ways, and we eventually became friends, and they were massive Jam fans, and they were the only kids I could really. There was another friend of mine who was a keyboard player, but he was more into Iron Maiden, and so I learned Jam songs. We just used to run through Jam songs, so it's a nod to my kind of early past, and I like the very early Jam. They had something punk about them, and I think forgot In the City. It's got that. It's the Pistols, isn't it? I don't know who had that riff first.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. It's the Holidays in the Sun.
Yeah. I think the Pistols ripped the Jam off, but the Jam ripped off. I think it was Montrose in the 70s. You know, a classic rock band had that riff first, but it's a gateway punk rock riff.
Yeah.
You know, and
I think
it's really good. And I think In the City it fits with the theme of the album, and it's a good nod. You know,
I was listening to the album without knowing that. I wasn't looking at the track names, so it come on. And I was like, "Oh yeah." And I was listening. And I was like, "Oh, this is a real nod." And I went, "Hold on, it's actually okay." Because I was thinking that reminds me of. No, it's really good. Really, no, I love it. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jam. So, Gaps, any comment on the album? Any questions?
Well, I think the album's great. It's really, really superb. I've listened to it 4 times now. Just recently, in the last hour. I can't stop listening to it. In fact, I just wanted to ask you, CJ, what are your favourite songs, or what is your favourite song from the album, and why? Really,
my favourite song is "You've Got the Best Part of Me."
Oh, that's mine too.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So, a few reasons.
I absolutely love that song.
He's not just saying that either. He said that the other night when we had a catch up.
That's good. Well, it's going to be the next single, so that comes out on March 28th when the official release of this album is on. But I like the whole album. I like the fact that people are starting to realise that I am a bit of a punk rocker, and it's taken me a long time for people to see this. You know, coming from the Wildhearts, who are not a punk rock band, they're not a rock and roll band, they're not a glam rock band, they're not a prog rock band, they're a bit of everything, the Wildhearts. But my heart is, you know, with punk, and I've always liked it, and people are starting to see that in me. They're starting to see that, and I like the way they've called me punk and roll. I can roll.
I like that title.
Yeah, I've seen that pop up. It's good.
And this album, it's people who've heard it, they really like it, and a lot of older punk rockers are really embracing it as well. They can hear where it's coming from, and you know, I choose the bands I rip off very carefully, and you can hear it on this album. But You've Got the Best Part of Me is I wrote it for my wife, so but it's a punk rock love song. If you're in love with someone, you should give them the best part of you, and they should give it back. And that's what the song's about.
Well, it's definitely the sort of ballad that we like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So you're right with us on that one. So Gav, any comments, any thoughts on the new record?
I was just, I just think it's really, really consistent and unrelenting, and like you say, a bit like the last album as well. I think you've really found your sound. I was going to ask about how the drums end up on it, but you've answered that question for me. So that's really cool. As a drummer, it's good to know. And some of the speed of the double bass drumming you've made him do, that he doesn't.
Yeah, it's nice. I could play it straight and have 10 songs all at the same tempo, all with like that kind of pistol type drumming on. But I think I'm never going to go prog. I'm never going to have 10-minute long songs or songs with really complicated riffs. I like songs that you can get to the chorus as quickly as possible, get people moving, and just when you think, oh, I'm getting used to it, bang, it's gone. You're into the other one. I think I always underplay and never overstay.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice. I think also it is punk, but it's got loads of melody in it. It's got loads of vocal melody, especially, which is always your unique selling point in the Wildhearts, I thought, as well. How you find unusual harmonies and you're
there was
very original sound, very talented.
I'm a big Clash fan, and I like Mick Jones. He's my favorite member, and he's probably one of my favorite guitar players as well. But he was the melody element to the Clash, and I always thought, what made the Wildhearts really work was the chemistry between me and Ginger. Whether we were liking each other or hating each other, we had natural chemistry with our guitars and our vocals, and you get a lot of bands like that where you've got the two vocals and the two guitarists up front, or and that kind of chemistry is impossible to kind of manufacture or can't advertise for it. I had the same chemistry with Willie Dowling in Honeycrack, and in my solo band, the guitarist I have now, Dino, we have the same chemistry as well. And it's it's the third time it's happened in nearly a 40-year long career. It just shows you how rare it is to find people.
No, it's good. Yeah.
Okay, good. I guess from my perspective, I think I've said, as the other guys have, we all really love the album. 4 standouts for me. Another big mistake. I mean, what a start to an album. Yeah. It's like, if you need shaking up, your bones being shook to life, that's a great start to an album. Baddest Girl in the World, love that. Love the guitar solo in that as well, CJ. It's brilliant. Really, really picks you.
It's a traditional guitar solo. I never show off. So I think people who show off have got something to hide. If you can put, it's like complicated food. It's like, what is it? If you can make a chicken wing taste like the best thing you've ever eaten in your life, and that's a rare talent. And I always think less is more. And I know so many guitar players. I've worked with so many guitar players, and all they do is spew a flurry of notes, and you can never remember what they're playing. They've got no soul, no style, and it's like Angus Young's my favorite lead player, and when he plays, he makes an impact, but he's not doing finger tapping and a million trills and like pinched harmonics, and it's just like, God, if people start shredding, I'm off, mate. I'm off.
Solos you can sing, they're the best ones, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
What's that?
Solos that you can sing.
You've got to be able to hum it. You've got to be a solo. A good solo is as important as a chorus on a song. It's just you just don't get many of them. Especially in faster music like metal and stuff like that. It is all about speed. And those guys, don't get me wrong, they're really, really talented, but they should have paid more attention to choruses when they were at school.
Yeah, no, agreed. As Jam said, In the City, great to hear that again. Couldn't believe it when that came on. I saw the tracks and then didn't think anything of it. So brilliant. You got the best part of me, as you already said, and slots as well. So brilliant. But look, for anyone watching this and anyone thinking about buying the album or indulging in it or downloading digitally, I think you could have given a really good, I guess, description of where this is coming from. What would be? Why should someone go out and get this? Do you think? What would be your?
Because I'm a lover of songs. I don't hide behind the riff. I don't hide behind 10 10-minute long musical passages. I mean, it's verse, chorus, middle eight, maybe a guitar solo, 2 choruses, then the end. And you know, my music's all about getting your heart going. You know, it's about, there's lots of music out there. There's music to chill to, music to like make love to, music to eat dinner to. You know, my music is about jumping up. It's anthemic. You know, it's about getting the heart going. And I'm not a young man. I turned 57 on the 27th of this month, and I always said, you know, if I slow down, if I start making acoustic music or folk music, that's it. I'm out of here. You know, when I go out, I'm going out on fire. So
Fair play.
you want older men making music for younger people, then you're at the right place.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's
nice.
really good answer to that. So, Jam, we've all done a bit of a review, and we do this quite often. So when we look at records, whether they're records or albums in the past or records in the future, in the present, and Jam's going to talk you through our view in terms of Tales from the PowerAge, and then he's going to give anyone watching some links on where to purchase.
Because I'm sure, thanks, Dill. Because we love to score, we love to give scores, and people, our subscribers, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Our subscribers like to know our opinions, and they like to give us their opinions. And our opinion for your album, CJ, is officially, this is going to be quick, please. It is 5 flying V's from us. That's out of 5.
5.
So it doesn't come any better.
Doesn't get any better than that.
You're going to get a lot of reviews over the coming weeks, but 5 flying V's from the official verdict from Tales from the PowerAge.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Even though I don't like the guitar, I'll definitely take it this time.
I wondered
brilliant.
Given to the flying V. I honestly did.
It's one of the worst guitars ever. You can't play it sitting down.
No, you certainly can't.
They're really, really small, and they just got a horrible tone. I mean, if you want to sound like Schenker, great.
There you go.
That's why I like Les Pauls, and I like, you know, big 335s. I like guitars with curves.
Have you been to the Gibson garage in London off Oxford Street?
No, I'm not into guitars that much.
Well, do you know what's funny about that's the best flying V's you'll see, because they're actually flying around the ceiling, which is quite.
Are they? I mean, I've been to. I went to, when we were touring in the States. We've been to the Nashville headquarters, a custom place there, and they took one look at my BB King Lucille, and they said, "What have you done to this guitar?" And they're all quite horrified. And for me, when I see these guitar purists looking at my guitar and they're absolutely disgusted, I've won. That is my job done.
I think it's brilliant.
You know, my guitars are hammers, and that's all they are. They're just tools. You know,
Brilliant.
I have a handful of guitars, literally probably 5 guitars, and they're all guitars I use, and I don't need any more. Absolutely don't need any more. There's only so many hammers, you know, a builder can weld, and I've never been into guitars. And when people show me their guitars, I look at them and go, yeah, it's nice.
I'm not just saying this. I think your guitar looks amazing. We love it. Okay.
What's that?
Your guitar looks brilliant. Looks amazing.
1 second. 1 minute.
Lucille.
Yeah.
Well, this one.
Yeah.
This one.
He's saying, yeah, no, yes, it looks brilliant.
It's bloody awesome.
See, this is the one. So when I was in Nashville, at Gibson at their headquarters, and they saw this, and they were just horrified. They just thought, you know,
that's
what
ridiculous.
done, it's a unique guitar, and it plays well.
CJ, that's you, right?
It's great. It's a great guitar.
Looks
great
amazing.
Guitar. I love it. I've had it for God over 30 years now. So.
Wow.
You know, it's a nice guitar. But Gibson, there's a thing called Gibson Sunday, and they took one of my pictures and put it up there, and there was all these people going, "Oh, look at the state of that! Oh, like you can tell Daddy's money bought this guitar, because only a rich kid would put stickers on a guitar that expensive." And it
really?
And the truth is, I didn't buy it; I was given it. You know, so I didn't buy any of my Gibsons. So yeah. You know, I'm not that dumb. I'm not going to waste my money on guitars. If I had money to buy a vintage Gibson, I would. The last thing I'll spend it on is a piece of wood with some strings on it, man.
Well, as you don't like your guitars that much, next time I'm near your house, I might come and pick a couple up just to borrow for a few weeks. So
Well, you can if you want. I mean, I've got some quite expensive guitars, but as I said, I didn't buy them. So
no, brilliant.
I right this God's honest truth here. This guitar.
If he walks back with a flying V, then I want my money back.
Yeah.
This one.
Oh wow!
Oh, look at
yeah.
that.
So this one's Mabel, and so I haven't bought a guitar since
Got the Devil's Bit
1989.
logo on.
Yes, and this has had a lot of work done to it. So I haven't bought a guitar since 1989. So I thought I'm lucky that I've had deals and I've always been endorsed and stuff. So so I thought I'm going to buy myself a guitar, and so I bought Mabel for £120 off eBay. The guy wanted to.
Wow.
And I thought I'm going to make this guitar into something really special. And it's an Epiphone Studio, and people pick it up and just go, "It's just the best. It sounds incredible." I had a bit of money spent on it, but it is just the most beautiful guitar, and it's my best player. And I got it for 120 quid. So
£120. Unreal.
I thought you were going to say 120,000.
Yeah.
No, 120 quid.
It's probably worth 120,000. Anyway, Jam, do you want to talk through where anyone can get the new?
Just to bring this section of the as far as this part of the show is concerned, the important thing, Slots, the album. Where can you get it from? So from DJ, on the interweb thing, cjdevilspit.com. On there, straight as soon as you go in on there, you'll see it on the front page, how to order. And yeah, pre-order it now. You receive a digital copy of Slots, something that we've had the joy of being able to share recently, and that's available on the 20th of December, ahead of the commercial release in 2025. Shipping dates, this is the important bit. Digital, December the 20th, 2024. CD and T-shirt, January 2025. And I know of at least, I think, 3 of these that have been ordered so far. Vinyl, the records, which we are massive vinyl record heads. That's going to be coming out in March 2025. But yeah, order it now. You can get the digital from CJ Wildheart at bandcamp.com. But yeah, you're not gonna regret getting hold of this one, to be honest, because as we said, it's a beautiful being, isn't it? It's a great thing. So yeah,
I always say, if you don't like my sauce, if you don't like my albums, I'll give you your money back. You know, no one's ever taken me up on that offer yet. So
no,
I seem to be winning. Yeah.
What's happening with the sources? You're still doing them?
Yeah, I mean, I put them up once a year now. My hot sauce man moved up to the Isle of Bute, and I mean, I could have maybe pursued the hot sauce and done it full time, but I would have stopped making music. And I love the hot sauce, and people seem to like it, but it is the hardest hot sauce to get hold of in the world. And
yeah, I tried.
But I am going to do a sale. Yeah, spring. I'm going to do a sale.
Cool.
So,
I'll be there.
Yeah, I let people run out, and then they try other sauces, and they realize how unique my sauce is. There isn't another one like it in the world, and then they come back normally. So it's the first hit is free. Tell all your friends.
Brilliant. Well, we're up for that for sure. So, should we go on to the onto maybe a previous life before your solo career? So,
Of course,
Gav, you've got some stuff around that.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you this because it was when my band supported your band.
That's a really old picture. That's Bam Bam, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't know if this was your first tour or not. Possibly not. It's not your first gig, maybe your first.
No, because we did shows prior to Bam and me and Ginger singing as well. We had 2 singers in the band before Ginger took lead vocals, and we had a different drummer and a different bass player. I mean, a lot of people say Danny's like a founding member. He was like our 3rd bass player. I mean, Richie was like our 4th drummer. And yes, we did have 2 singers in the Wildhearts before.
Really cool.
Yeah, Ginger.
So this lineup, definitive early lineup, I guess, because you recorded as this lineup, didn't you? At least the first.
We actually recorded before this lineup, but the stuff never came out. We recorded an EP with I can't remember which singer it was, but
I think there's some demos kicking around with Snake. singing.
There was Snake, and we did. I'm sure we had a guy called Duncan F. Mullett from a band called Mournblade, and we did go to a studio and record an EP with the producer Rick Browdy, who just he was really big at the time because he'd done like the first Poison album and Faster Pussycats album, and
Recognize the name, yeah.
yeah, Rick Browdy, but it never came out. Never came out. And then we were auditioning for singers, and I can't remember what my manager. He basically said, "Look, Ginger, you should sing lead. CJ, you should sing harmony. It's great. You'll be like an English version of Guns N' Roses. You know, gingerhead singer, brown hair, brown guitarist. Perfect. You'll get signed straight away." And he was right. Yeah.
He wasn't a keen singer anyway, was he, Ginger? He didn't want to be the lead singer necessarily.
Because he did. He wanted to like, you know, say, I don't want the attention.
Right.
No.
He's like a peacock.
It worked a treat anyway. Those first two
It's
EPs.
about as subtle as a kick to the balls, Ginger. You know, people that not that subtle saying they don't want to be singers, they're talking out of their like hairy backsides, aren't they? Come on.
Well, it was brilliant playing with you that one day, and been supporting.
Were we
you.
nice?
Yeah, you were. Yeah. We Phoenix Plaza in Wokingham, and one of my memories is that Bam had a big old-fashioned camcorder, and he was going around the dressing room videoing everyone and kind of doing fake.
Yeah, he's a very good photographer. Yeah, he's a keen. Like he took tons of like footage.
Yeah, so I'll be on there somewhere.
He's good. No, I love Bam. He was like one of my favorites. Bam. I'm still very friendly with.
And I remember the backdrop was it was just a spray painted the Wildhearts.
Right.
Before we had a proper backdrop as well, so it was really.
I mean, it's such a long time ago. I mean, I'm trying to rack my brains trying to remember that, you know, and I mean, I've done at least 2 gigs since then.
And then the following night, you were with Manic Street Preachers.
Oh, well, we were on tour with them, were we then?
No. These were all your own dates, but you were special guests the following night.
With the Marquee, was it?
No, Town and Country Club.
Town and Country Club.
Yeah.
Because we supported the Manics on a tour. We did a really long tour with them, but their fans didn't like us. They thought we were too heavy metal.
Too noisy.
Yes, and they weren't. Yeah, we didn't go down well with the Manic fans. Yeah, a little bit too heavy for them. But good tour.
Yeah, it was the only time I ever played and then ditched everything and ran down the front. We got 2 gigs for the price of 1 that day.
Brilliant. So should we go on to the catalogue Wildhearts? Gav, I think you might have some question or 2 around this.
Yeah, just this was just to kind of educate anyone that didn't know every album that you played on. I think you played on almost all of the studio albums, including.
There's one missing in there.
Is that?
No, they're all there. The only one I didn't play on was what's that really heavy one they did?
Endless Nameless.
Yeah.
Yeah, which nobody likes a production of anyway.
It's awful production. There's a couple of really good songs on there.
I agree. Yeah, you played Urge, didn't you?
That's the live version is much better than the studio version.
Yeah, it's a shame there's some good stuff buried in that mix somewhere. But
we didn't make that many albums considering how long we've been around.
And which would you say is your favourite? What you're most proud of?
Oh, Earth Versus, without a doubt.
Right. Yeah.
The reason, I mean, Earth Versus. I've said this many times. I think it's Ginger's best songs. I think it was him at the peak of his writing ability because you look at the B-sides as well.
Yeah.
For that, and if it wasn't for that album, you know, it spurned. I think the band. It was the beginning of something really good, but stopped very quickly being very good. But those songs, I mean, they're like most of the songs on that album are the songs most of the Wildheart fans would like to hear. I mean, you know, you do get some who want to hear the obscure B-sides, but they were great songs, and it led to so many different things, different avenues for all of us. And you know, I'll always hold that album dear to my heart. You know, it's yeah, definitely Versus. It was a gateway album, and there was nothing like it, and there was no one like us at that time around. We were a real odd, unique band, I thought.
Such a live sounding album as well, isn't it? It's a band playing in a studio. It's not pieced together.
they're just demos tarted up. We
Right.
didn't actually record the album. When they our label put us in the studio to do some demos, and that's what we recorded. And whoever made the call to say, look, you've got the album here, man, you've got the vibe, you just need to like do some overdubs and get it mixed properly, and there's your album.
Wow.
So we kind of messed around a bit in the studio. When you think you're just doing demos, you don't kind of, you know, at those times you didn't really take it that seriously. So we were fucking a bit, but yeah, it was a good call. We thought we were going to go back in and record it properly, but they said, no, you've got it. You've got it.
Wow. Cool.
Okay, cool. Jam, any thoughts or questions around the back
When we were
catalogue?
looking, I was just ask you, CJ, when we look at that back catalogue, PHUQ, there's some confusion whether you were on it or did you play on that one, PHUQ?
Of course I did. Yes.
Yeah. That's we were talking. We weren't sure if you yeah, but yeah. So that's,
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's good.
Well, I remember being in the studio and recording all my parts and doing all the pre-production for about a month, and we
Awesome.
recorded a double album, and then obviously it came out as a single album, and then
Yeah.
Fishing for Lucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Brilliant.
There's a reason why I had to buy myself of my Warner Brothers deal for £140,000. You know, if I'd only been on one album, they wouldn't have been after that money. You know what I
No,
mean?
good.
Right.
I had to
Right.
sign a release as well at
Yeah.
my warranties. I think Ginger's said, I think he's got a checkered memory. He has said that I wasn't on that album, but yes, I was.
This is perfect. If we're sat here chatting with you, we want to. Yeah, it's good to know. You know, straight from the horse's mouth, we know exactly.
I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have cared if I wasn't on it as well. It doesn't really bother me. It's like it's water under the bridge. It's such a long time ago, and you know, I've made many albums since then. But it's a great album, PHUQ. But it's not my second favorite one. My second favorite Wildheart album is the White Album.
Same as.
That's
Yeah.
Gaffy's favourite
Yeah,
album.
there you go.
Absolutely adore that album.
That is a band at their peak. Of their
Absolutely.
position.
Yeah,
Totally agree with you.
We were never ever as tight or as proficient or as musical ever again after that album. For me, it was just having Scott on board and just the four of us. We just gelled. It was like a proper machine, and you know, it's just there's a song in there called "Rooting for the Bad Guy," and I just think it shows the band. You know, if I wasn't going to play someone, anything off the verses or any of those classic B-sides, I would sit them down and make them listen to all like 67 minutes of "Rooting for the Bad Guy."
Yeah.
So this is the band at their best.
That's cool.
Okay, brilliant. Now you did do a few albums prior to the Wildhearts, which I think you've got, Gav, as well. One of them is I don't know if you remember that.
Oh God, Tatted Love Boys, Honeycrack, and the Jellies. I remember them all. I mean, if it wasn't
Who's
for the
that there
Tatted Love Boys,
with the black hair?
huh?
Can you confirm that's you?
Where? Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. That's me when I'm about 19 or something. If it wasn't for the Tatted Love Boys, I wouldn't have met Ginge, and we wouldn't have. We were playing the Hippodrome in London, and
yeah, that's right.
Ray Zell brought him along because Ginge was looking for a guitarist to form a band with, and Ray said, "Oh, you got to come and see this kid." And we met, and we said we're going to form a band together. You know, we got on so well, and that band was the Wildhearts. So you know, you got to look at things as stepping stones. And it got me to London, and it was a great time. You know, I was 18, playing the Marquee club. You know, just going to some of the best clubs, hanging out with some of the most amazing people and musicians. And
I mean, they were good days, weren't they? You
Think
think
of
of
the era as well.
Marquee and the bands that were around at the time. I was looking back at some of my previous gigs. I'm pretty sure you guys were supporting the Choir Boys on New Year's Eve. I think that was
we were. Yeah, we were. I don't think Ginge was in the band then, though. I think it was Griff. But, we were. But that was the new Marquee club, the one on Charing Cross Road. Yeah, we were. That was great that night.
That was 88. That was 88. You know, I've got pictures of me at that, believe it or not. So yeah,
that was a great night. But it was so good to be able to play those gigs as a kid. You know what I mean? It's just I look back at and all I have is good memories, and I'm just really glad I did that. You know, it's got some great stories. A bit too rude for this, but
Well, that's a nice segue into a bit of a shared history. A girl I was very friendly with at college at the time. She used to love you. A girl called Ronnie.
Oh yes, we when we had a brief chat, we spoke about Ronnie and yeah, Ronnie. It's just so weird you mentioned her because I hadn't thought of her in like decades. And yeah, she was the girl like who I was really like fond of her, but everyone used to think we were brother and sister. It's like it was a bit, it's a bit odd, you know, when you see, because we looked quite similar. She was like a Peruvian.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
same kind of skin tone and
same colour. Those purple streaks in her hair.
But no, so she was always weird whenever I used to meet a lot of girls who looked like me, like they were kind of, you know, my kind of skin color, and it was always, you go, oh, that girl looks just like you, Siege. I was quite an effeminate younger man, believe it or not. Oh.
Weren't we all? Anyway, you were.
You were, mate.
So, Gav, I think there was some other stuff that Gav's a huge vinyl collector, and he's got everything. So
I was just gonna talk to you about Honeycrack because I thought they were fantastic.
See that. Now after her verses, yes, I'll pick her verses, and then I said the White Album was the Wildhearts are their most musical, but the most musical album I've ever made is the Honeycrack. I mean, that's sonically and just. One. I was kicked out of the Wildhearts, and then I signed a very big record deal with Sony. And that was on the back of me hooking up with Willie and just giving Willie something he doesn't have. He's so perfect, Willie, and he's one of those musicians who comes from the Beatles side of things, where it's all fancy chords and everything's really polished, and they need people like me who come in and go like, "Nah, mate, that is Ponzi. You need to play it like this," you know, where he's playing it like it's a.
So you were yin and yang,
and and I gave him that edge, and people liked it. People really liked it, and that album, I was suddenly in a band with 4 musicians who could all play their instruments so well. They could all sing, all write music. They all knew their way around the studio, and I'd come from the Wildhearts, and it was a baptism for me, and it made me realize, you know, it's not just about playing your guitar and going on tour and doing drugs and shagging. You know, there's a science to music. There's a formula to music which people behind mixing desks know about, and it made me want to learn about how music was actually put together. And thank God, you know, I bumped into Willie, and you know, we put together Honeycrack, and I love that album. It's just, I mean, sonically, it sounds beautiful.
I got a few of the singles as well because I was actually working for Sony at the time, just doing sales. So I kind of picked up about anything that was going around. I picked up, and I don't know if you've seen that. It was it's just King of Misery.
Yeah. Is that the cardboard one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and it's numbered.
5 minutes in it.
Yeah, that's it. So that I think that's pretty collectible. And then there was the Sitting at Home.
Yeah. I love that time. Those couple of years at Sony, God, I love being at Sony. They treated us so well.
And another one, all keeping that kind of black and white naked people image.
Genuinely. Remember, like the Wildhearts always had this thing about hating the record labels, and especially like Warner Brothers and stuff like that. But, I like most of my labels. They treated us really well. I thought, you know, I think if people are giving you money to go on tour and paying for your albums and putting you on a wage and shit like that, I mean, you shouldn't really be hating them, should you?
No,
to be grateful. Yeah, especially these days, that doesn't really exist, does it?
It doesn't exist. No, but they are such horrible people for throwing money at us. You know, terrible
bastards.
Brilliant. Okay, well, look, that's the back catalogue. I was lucky enough to see you a few weeks ago supporting the mighty ageless Mike Monroe. That was a great gig. That seemed like a really good fit, you two guys going out together, which I guess moves on to sort of the final question. Any plans to tour the album next year?
Yeah, you know what? You know, I've asked the question to the Michael Monroe people to like take me out with them when they go out.
Really well in Camden.
So, it was just a perfect fit. I think the fact that there's so much punk about Michael, and he crosses over, and both bands work really well together, and they're all friends, of mine, and so I've asked a few bands, I have a lot of friends, in bands who are a lot bigger than me, and I have asked, to bear me in mind when they're thinking about, opening bands. But there's a sort of politics, isn't there? Especially with bigger bands, they'll have bands who do have deals, certainly younger, got bigger buzzers, can contribute to like pushing, the promotion and stuff like that. So it's really hard for someone who's self-financed and at my level to get on bigger tours. But I have put my name in quite a few hats, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that next year I get to do a couple of decent support tours. We'll see.
Well, we've got our fingers crossed as well, and be looking forward to that. So
I'm off to
please,
Japan though in March with my solo band, which is great.
awesome. Where are you playing in Japan?
We're doing 2 shows. We're doing Osaka and Tokyo, but I lost my solo deal like 4.5 years ago because of an altercation with the Wildhearts in Japan. With I won't go into what it was, but it was nothing to do with me. But it cost me my solo deal, and it's taken me 4.5 years to find another deal, and to find another company who will just trust me, because yes, the Wildhearts have made lots and lots of good music, but our reputation it isn't the best in the world, and I've always worked really hard, and anyone who follows me on social media and anyone who follows my solo stuff knows how hard I work, and I don't take the piss, and any opportunity I'm given, I'm always grateful for it. And so I've been given an opportunity after 4.5 years, and I'm going to take it, and we'll see where it goes. But I can't wait to go back to Japan. It's amazing.
Okay, that's brilliant. Well, look, for what it's worth, you've got 4 huge fans here, and we're going to do everything we can to beat the drum around everything that you're doing, but particularly around the new album. So as Jam's already mentioned, we'll continue to share the links on that, and where you can download, where you can buy the new vinyl, which we'll all be buying. Looking forward to getting a purple copy of that, CJ. So watch this space on that one. So
thank you very much.
That's been brilliant. You've joined us today. Look, we've got some other stuff on our other sister channel, on the live channel, which we got a recording of you doing a Wildheart song, ironically, at the Electric Ballroom a few weeks ago, which was brilliant. And I must say, being in the crowd, you went down really well. So that's Tales from the PowerAge Live. So check that out on YouTube, and again, we'll share the link in that.
Can I just stop you there? I'm dropping. We recorded the show at KK's in Wolverhampton, and on Friday I'm dropping the live version of Sitting at Home on my social.
Oh,
yes.
brilliant.
We'll certainly give that a share on Twitter and Facebook. So give us the link, and we'll do that for you.
And I'm filming the next. So my next single is "You Got the Best Part of Me," but I'm filming the video on the Japanese tour for that as well. So it's going to be.
Oh wow, that's going to be good.
Okay.
Yeah, because all videos in Japan look amazing. So.
Yeah, excellent. As always, you can contact us on Facebook on Tales from the PowerAge, on Twitter or X, as it is now, on TTFTPR, on Blue Sky, which we seem to be picking up a lot of followers at the moment, which is great. Online at www.talesfromthepowerage.com, and merch at redbubble.com merchandise. So, CJ, it's been an absolute honour and pleasure to have a chat with you
Totally.
tonight.
Absolutely awesome.
We wish you all our heartfelt thanks and all our best wishes for the success of your new album. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you
I've
very
really
much.
enjoyed this. Really enjoyed it, and I appreciate anyone who helps me. It's really cool. Really cool.